friends, and welcome to Pod Return to the Waking Sands. We are a Final Fantasy XIV companion podcast where we explore the lore and story of Hydaelyn and beyond. My name is Jen, and I'm joined by my co-host and researcher.
I'm Levi.
So, Levi.
Hello, Jen.
I think I just called you Levi, but your name is Levi.
What did you call me?
Levi.
Oh, I see. I heard the V.
You know, the recording
similar.
will show.
Yes. Anyway, hello, Jen. How you doing?
Good. Mother's great. How are you?
Your mother's great. Good to hear.
Did you?
I heard mother.
Are you
The
being,
recording will
are
show.
you being a little tit for tatty?
No, I'm. That's what I heard.
Oh my god, the weather's great.
Good to hear, Jen. Well, enjoy it.
Yeah.
We will after we're done.
Yeah. Woo.
But before then, why don't you enjoy some Sylphs, as we are talking about the Sylph Tribe Quest.
Here we go.
Here we go. How was this for you, Jen?
Torturous.
Oh no, that bad.
I mean, it's the environment is really beautiful, but fuck if these aren't the most infuriating little tasks that we have to do. Just I don't know what it is. It just pushed my buttons. Did not enjoy.
Interesting. I was curious to hear because I don't think this is good content, but I think it's interesting content. It's very unique in terms of what they chose to do here. And I think that the attempts are interesting, even though I don't think they're successful overall. So that's
a fair assessment.
Let's
I
take a
can't
look.
say like I'm offended, but fuck.
We have done 4 tribe quests so far. We know the drill. Rank up, do daily quests, rank up again, repeat as you do. We don't need to rehash that mechanic again. We should, however, rehash our knowledge of sylph reproduction, Jen, as this is a big part of this quest. Sylphs are like many flowers in that they possess the whole reproductive package, stamen and pistil. Though there is a subset of sterile sylphs, also called late blooms, who are talented in the arcane arts. During pollinating season, flowering sylphs that are so fortunate as to be fertilized grow a bulb atop their head, which is then incubated in a seed bed until a baby sylph sprouts forth. And this isn't clarified anywhere, I don't think, but I'm guessing that sylph pollen is either carried by insects or maybe they just spray it everywhere as they're going about their business.
No comment.
I don't think, though, that sylphs ever try to reproduce intentionally. I gather that it just happens while they're doing their stuff.
Sure.
Great. Once again, no comment from Jen.
It just seems like a tribe of children, so I don't want to expound on how they reproduce and all that. It's fucking weird.
Yes. I mean, they're childlike, but this is the mature form of this creature.
I know. It's fine.
Well, Jen, if this makes you uncomfortable, then buckle up for this whole quest line.
I never gave it more than passing thought.
I see.
Now you're making me think about it. So
Great. You're welcome.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we do here. We spur deep thoughts.
Do we?
Yes.
Okay.
So that's it on the sylphic reproduction refresher. So let's get down to the quest line.
All right. Where do you want to start?
At the beginning.
Okay. So the beginning is, as always, commander of the relevant
Grand Company.
Grand Company, thank you. I'm like, what the fuck is the word? This time, because we're in Gridania, it's Commander Hulwa, and he has a task for a competent adventurer. Hey, that's us. Recently, he has noticed peculiar movements from the sylphs and tasked a scholar named Voice, that's Voyce, to observe and make reports. All was well for a few weeks until 3 days ago, reports stopped. So the task is to check on this guy.
Despite his prodigious intellect and survival skills, these reports have stopped.
Correct. So something must be terribly, terribly wrong
with this genius
in the
field.
I mean, shit.
So we head over to Little Solace to begin the hunt. And once we're there, we meet up with Omxio.
Omzio?
I feel like that's not respecting the X.
It's a different way of respecting the X.
silently.
Because otherwise that's
It's
I'm
very
sorry.
hard to say.
As a shitty American, it's too hard to say otherwise. So Omsio.
Okay. We'll go with your version, Jen. Omsio.
All right, sounds good.
Pun intended.
Well, what did you say?
You said it.
Who said it?
You said sounds good.
It barely counts, bro. All right.
So anyway, we tell Omsio that we're looking for this scholar, or as they put it, the smart one. But no, they don't know any smart one. They only know the bumbling, stumbling one. And Omsio tells us that this one is likely bothering the elder one with their incessant questions. We head over to see Frisio.
Yeah, this could be Frisio or Frixio. You know, I've been saying Frixio in my head, but it could be Frisio.
It seems like your standards are all over the place, Jen.
You're not wrong.
I'd say Frixio.
Frixio. Done. When you go to talk to Frixio, he said that Voice, our bro, stumbled, as he does, into the Sylphlands, probably to his peril. And Omsio, so we're all like, huddled around, we're having a chat. And Omsio is kind of confused by our insistence at running after the scholar into Luxcall. They offer myriad warnings before washing their hands of us and the situation. Like, fucking, if you want to go find this idiot, that's on you. Good luck.
He believes that the scholar is likely fried by lightning by now.
Yeah, probably.
But either way, we head off to Larkscall to look around. And we find this guy who is a bespectacled hearer with a green tunic and short blonde hair, who is tied up on a rock surrounded by tempered purple sylphs. They're all mocking this guy, saying that he's not too smart to have stumbled into here. And the scholar calls out for help, saying that they'll eat him.
I'll eat me.
Which is met with derision because sylphs don't eat people, even though later on...
Well, they eat chocobos. Not people, though.
Apparently.
Yeah.
That's where they draw the line.
Or it's just said so that they can appear threatening or something.
I think that's the best way to square it, but I don't think sylphs eat
meat.
Sylphs
don't eat people.
Yes.
They eat
or
air.
chocobos.
Yeah.
They eat air.
Straight up. Or pumpkins or dirt veggies. Veggies that taste like
Anyway,
dirt.
The scholar, though, is yelling that they're going to eat him. And they're saying he's dumb. Sylphs don't eat people.
Yeah,
and
stupid.
They begin to threaten him, demanding that he confess that he was trying to steal the Chosen One podling. If he doesn't confess, he'll become a shocky, sizzly one.
His denials fall on deaf ears, and they prepare to turn him crispy. But our footsteps alert the leader to our presence, and they flee. For now.
These sylphs do know who we are. They're like, oh shit, it's the Warrior of Light.
Hell yeah. They know what's up.
So they just bail. They know it's not worth fighting.
Good decisions. Voice, this guy, he's got to be, 19? I guess in Final Fantasy terms, because age is so fucked, he's probably 14. So he's grateful, but he's also confused, by the strange nature of these sylphs. He had read how carefree and gentle they are, but this? I don't know. Something was wrong, and Larkscall was giving him the heebie-jeebies. So we head back. So, obviously, Voice embellished his CV a little bit when he applied for the post. He believed his fascination with sylphs and sylph lore would carry him through until he became famous.
Yeah, he's going to try and fake it till he made it, but...
okay, but...
He has not
You
succeeded.
are so out of your depth, already, bro. So in one of the books he quote-unquote borrowed from Stillglade Fane, meaning stolen, there was mention of a sylph so powerful, it was said she had control over their very fates, the quote-unquote Chosen One.
He concludes wisely that maybe the Chosen One in his books is the one that the touched sylphs were talking about. And at this point, Frixio overhears the conversation and flits over. They say that the Chosen One embodies the spirit of all trees that have ever lived or will ever live in their forest home.
That's crazy. I think embodying the spirit of every tree that's ever lived so far is enough. You don't have to embody the spirit of every tree that has
Every
yet to
tree
exist.
ever, Jen. The story is that every 1,000 years, the Chosen One will sprout, leading the sylphs into a new era before returning to slumber. And this gets Voice very excited. This Chosen One business is now what he's all about. He's like, yeah, I'm going to make this my new calling. I'm going to research this Chosen One. And then for reasons, he starts complaining that he misplaced his undergarments with no prompting whatsoever. He just informs all of us that he's missing his underpants.
Sign of things to come.
Yes, quite. We leave him alone to his business, and we go and talk to Olmsio. Olmsio is concerned about this Chosen One and asks us to help the sylphs figure out what's going on. We accept, of course, and this begins the daily reputation quests. We're now going to start ranking up. This is kind of odd to begin with because the lead-in to the daily quests is just that there's a Chosen One out there. It doesn't feel like this is a good transition into doing
what we have to
forest
do.
fun times, which is what we end up doing.
It's just basically playing pranks on each other.
Yeah.
And then also pooping out deposits of vegetables around the Hawthorne hut.
I like that one a lot, actually. That one's a fun.
I wish maybe there were 4 deposits instead of 8.
I think story-wise, this is my favorite of the daily quests. This is the one where the sylphs are happy to have the Hawthorns as their neighbors. The Hawthorns, as a reminder, are the kind of historical lords of this part of the Twelveswood. So it's a family that lives in the Hawthorne hut.
Mm-hmm. Yep. They've got like the beekeeping and the, they kind of manage the area, which is great.
So this is like the little, garden gnome type stuff where they're going to leave little gifts out. And so we spread produce all around the Hawthorne hut.
Which is a tremendous gift. Like 8 piles of like squash and carrots and other root veggies and things that they cultivate. You think like this would be tremendous. What a boon. Every once in a while you go out and like piles of fresh veggies. Amazing. You could pickle them, you can store them, you could make a stew, all these things. So, you deposit them. There's 8 little areas around the hut and in the hut. And then you go talk to Rolf.
Yeah. Rolf
Hawthorne of, the eponymous owner of the whatever. And he's like, are you the one fucking leaving these trash ass dirt veggies around the place? I appreciate it, but, can you stop? He's considering it like a nuisance and a mess and they taste bad. I'm like, that's not possible. I don't believe you, you ungrateful jerk. Anyway,
that is rude. But also, I can imagine that these things are left on the back porch for a few days before someone finds them, and then rats get into them.
Flies and well, especially when you leave piles of them on the roof.
Yes, here, have some roof carrots.
Correct.
But this is the same thing for many of these quests, where they are. As a one-off, they're interesting, but as a thing you have to do on a daily basis, clicking 8 things around the Hawthorne hut on a daily basis.
Like, thematically, I find this really cute. I love it when you walk away, you've left behind a literal, like an illustrated pile of vegetables, but maybe 4 instead of 8. We don't need 8.
Yeah.
Just 4.
At least, Jen, we have flight, which the original Realm Reborners did not have.
I was like, how did you get to the one on the roof?
You climb up on that hill, then you jump off.
That's annoying as shit.
Yes.
All right.
So count your blessings at least, Jen.
Correct.
For that.
Anyway.
For most of these, actually. Another new mechanic introduced here is the stealth mechanic. This quest has a lot of kind of non-combat options, which I appreciate because in general, just going in there to kill sylphs and so on, it doesn't feel thematic for the quest line. And also it's, just like killing shit like you do in general. And it's interesting whenever this game tries to do something to provide a mechanic to a non-combat type encounter, it is sometimes successful in giving non-violence-based gameplay, but oftentimes it tends to be a bit lacking as well. And it's just because there's so much work put into the combat system and there is not the same level of work put into other systems. And frankly, if you want to make something engaging, you have to add more depth to it than this system.
Yes.
So it's interesting, but it's not fun to do and definitely not fun to do on a daily basis.
That's the thing. I'm like, this is like a cute idea. Like, it forces you to wander around the environment, which is really big.
Yeah.
And also really beautiful. And it's thematic and immersive, but it's just, it's too much. It's way too much.
Yep.
Like I've been doing this for like 6 solid minutes and Lord help me and anybody in earshot if I become uninvisible and have to start all the fuck over again.
So the mechanic here is that there are a few of these like this, but the first one is that you have to go steal some like pile of sacred objects or whatever from sylphs, from the touched sylphs.
Yeah.
So a sylph makes you invisible, and they have to run with a 30-second, I think, timer on the invisibility. But you can refresh the timer by huffing plants, pretty much. So these plants will spawn around the area, and if you huff them, then you get your timer refreshed. Then you run to the touched sylphs and steal their stuff without them knowing, and then you run away.
Yep. That's it. There's another one where there's a lot of, it's just like pranks. It's like prank shit.
Yes.
There's another one where the touched ones, the bad sylphs, will shapeshift into quote unquote suspicious objects.
This one is cute too.
One of them is just a giant cooked turkey.
Yes. It's like that roast raptor from the Culinary Quest line.
Just chilling in the forest.
Yep.
Looking weird. And then there's like a geode. And then there's like just a dude. Like a half naked dude. Yep. And he's like, hey, when you click on him, he like flexes. He's like, hey, he says something. They always, when they say something, they out themselves as being sylphs and not actually like people.
Not actually cooked turkeys.
Right. And they're like, what? Like some of the lines they say when you hit them with a smoke bomb, and that reveals their true selves. And sometimes the bad sylphs will be like, you're no fun. I guess I'll kill you now. But then you kill them first.
So that's the whole deal, is that you're supposed to out these pranking sylphs, and then you fight them once you stun them back into their normal form. This brings us, though, to another problem with these daily quests, which is they have like 3 ideas and they do them endlessly across the entire thing.
It's all more of the same.
Yes. So I will have like 3 different types of bombs in my inventory.
Yep.
And you can only use one type of bomb on one type of objective.
Yeah,
so
you'll go through the entire cast of the bomb, and then it'll be like, oh, you mixed your target. I'm like, oh, okay, so it's the other pile of bombs.
Is it the stink bomb or the smell bomb or whatever? I don't know. So,
yeah, or the see me now bomb versus the no more pesky bad sylph bomb.
And it's the exact same thing for the spring water. There are legitimately the same item, different stacks, same exact name. But one of them is the correct spring water, one's the incorrect spring water. It's just they have so few ideas, so they just like do them over again.
I had to start getting really particular about the order in which I did this so that I could feasibly parse which accessories I had to use for which things, because I just have a pile of 6 of these things at a time. So I couldn't do the invisibility run through the stuff quests first, because then the orange area markers, am I going to the right one? It was too much.
Yes, understood. So for that one, I would typically focus that quest so I could like clean off all the other things from my HUD.
Yes.
But that also brings us to another issue with these quests too, Jen, which is normally when you do the daily quests, you take them all at once and you just like fly out there and knock them out en masse. You just like look for quest markers and just get the fuck to it. Here, though, you have to go back to base all the time. You have to go get your invisibility buffs. You have to get the Gubu that you ride on to sneeze on the bad sylphs. So you have to go back to these way stations multiple times. You can't just go out there and do it. It's out the in, out the in.
I never got the Gubu one.
Really? Never?
Never.
Goodness.
So it was really weird to me when I was like, all right, I am done. I'm going to go get my mount. And I had no idea what it was. I'm like, what is this mount going to be? And it was the Gubu. I'm like, out of nowhere.
Yeah. So apparently, Jen, you missed...
It's not even a mob like in Lark's Call or the Sylphlins.
Right.
Yeah, which is great. Like, I'm happy to have him. But I never got that quest. So that was weird.
All you do is you are trying to chase off the loitering... No, you're chasing off the sylphs who are loitering, so you go sneeze on them and they run away.
That's funny.
I'm sad that you missed that entirely, Jen, because...
Right? What are the odds?
Gubu mount has a sneeze emote, and that is the sneeze you do on the sylphs as well.
I see.
So that's why it has a sneeze.
Well, weird.
Anyway, so those are the daily quests. After we do that, we rank up and we get back to the next story step.
Pilfered podlings. All right, so we go back and we talk to Voice first for some reason. And he's been doing some reading, of course, and he found something interesting. He begins telling us how sylphs are born, as a bulb. And the bulb must be incubated in a special pod, given warmth and nutrition before it's born. And he surmises that the chosen one slumbers in a pod as we speak. Hence the touched one's hostility. I'm like, well, yes.
Good job.
So his idea is for us to search the Sylphlands immediately for the chosen one with Olmsio's help. And Olmsio is aghast that the chosen one is just like chilling in the Sylphlands, and he's like, we must search immediately with this see-through magic. What
has happened here is that beforehand the touched sylphs were hassling Voice about a podling. He didn't share this whatsoever until now. So we go to Olmsio saying, hey, we're going to go look for this podling. And Olmsio's like, what? There's a podling?
What? Yeah.
You're just telling me this now?
Yeah, after Voice was like hogtied and the touched ones were like, bro, you stole our chosen one. Where's our chosen one, bro? And he's like, I don't have your chosen one. And he kept it all to himself. Like an idiot.
Podling was the term that was referenced there.
Sure.
Which tells us that it is in podling form at this time. Therefore, it is in a...
It's ready to go.
Yeah,
like he is nascent.
This baby's gonna pop.
Yeah. So what Olmsio does is he makes us invisible, like we are half the time now. And
there is credit to be given here for the fact that they do train you on these steps with the dailies.
Yes, because there's the big, championship game at the very end of all this for see-through magic.
This and also the carrying mechanic too. They do give you tutorials in the daily quests, even though you can miss them entirely, as Jen has evidenced on the Gubu point.
Yeah, I had so many see-through magic quests and so many.
So I hope that you
quests.
ace this, Jen, because you're a pro now.
Yeah, it was nerve-wracking though, because like, what if you miss a refresh point? Because anyway, we'll get there.
Oh my god, Jen! On the final carrying quest, I had a hard time finding the quest marker to turn it in. So I found it with like
fuck.
I found it with maybe like 3 seconds left after this maybe 5-minute long carrying objective. So I almost like lost my 5 minutes of hucking.
I would have lost my mind. I would have had to like step away for like an hour and then come back.
Anyway, so go on.
Okay, so what we're going to do here is Olmsio is going to make us see-through. We're going to sneak up on a couple of touched ones deep within the Sylphlands and try to spy on what they're saying so we can figure out maybe we can triangulate where the podling is. Luck is on our side. They are talking about the podling and how they were so clever in hiding it, except they were so clever that they hid it from themselves, and now it's just lost. So they run off in a panic.
Yeah, this is the lazy one and the irritable one. The lazy one stashed the podling somewhere to take a break.
And then they forgot where they put it. So they run off in a panic. Like, we got to find this before anybody finds out. And then that's when we strike, we find it, and we take it
5
back.
feet away.
Yeah, it's literally right there.
Yes.
So we take it back to the treehouse in Little Solace.
This is when we get the carrying minigame now, the first time it comes up. So after we find the podling in the bush, we now get the game where we have a buff timer for our endurance, essentially, and we're hefting the podling in our hands, and we have to run all the way back to Little Solace, huffing moongrass to refresh our endurance, and if it runs out, we drop the podling and we fail the objective. We are not stealthed here, so if you are at a appropriate level, you will pick up aggro, but enemies in this game have a very short aggro tether, so they'll reset after maybe taking one swing at you, so it's not that big a deal.
I was like level 64 doing this, so I was fine.
Congrats, Jen. I was playing on my lowest level, which is like 52, I think. I didn't want to deal with that too, I understand.
Yeah, another threat to having to start all over again.
Oh, sure.
Bullshit.
No, it's a pain because when you're doing all the clicky thing quests, stuff aggro's on you.
Yeah.
So you have to go fight the thing before you can click on the thing. It's annoying, but it's the true experience.
You're not wrong. Anyway, we get back. Frixio is stoked and relieved that we've got the Chosen One's pod out of the hands of the touched ones. And this is where he's like stressing the imminent threat that the Chosen One could pose if birthed in the wrong hands.
Right. We have saved Eorzea from a thundery demise.
And Voice is like, you guys, I don't understand what the problem is, because look at it. It's a little baby. God, these guys are just mercilessly destroying Voice at every opportunity. Frixie was like, you got 4 eyes and you can't see shit, bro. Like, you don't understand anything with all of your eyes and all of your papers.
The Chosen One holds the power of 1,000 sylphs.
A thousand sylphs.
Excuse me, my bad, Jen.
Yeah.
That's a lot of sylphs. They can command the primal Ramu with ease. If these powers fell into the hands of the touched ones, our precious Gridania would go boom. And now we finally have Voice's attention. So, great. We've got the podling now, so we're all good, right?
That's it. All good. Yeah.
But they want us to go out and ward off the touched ones while the podling hatches.
Right.
And now this makes sense for us to actually go out and do stuff, which should have been the first step, because we now know why we're actually doing forest tricks.
We need to keep the touched ones from getting this thing back.
Yeah.
So every little, prank or machination by the touched ones needs to be eyeballed and stopped.
Yes. At this point, the quests send us deep into the Sylphlands here. So we're now in the very deep, high-level part of it. And there are some cool set pieces in the daily rep grind. So one of them has us watering this giant pink fungus that rises out of a pit in the ground. This is the one in like the far northeast corner. It looks super cool.
It's super cool. I mean, the whole environment is really pretty. And all like the plants and the animals, it feels like it feels very immersive. Like you're truly engaging with the environment and its denizens here in all of these quests. I loved what do they call it? The moonflower, the moonstone, the moon something. The big pink fungus.
Oh, I don't know. Moonshroom.
Something. Anyway, I mean, that's like, it's super impressive. This, for some reason, this set has way more like awesome spaces than the other ones.
For sure. Also, these Sopsa spawning grounds are very sweet. All the glowing corals and all that stuff. Also super sweet.
Yeah, but the Sylphlands just take it to another fucking level.
This one also has, in the central part of the Sylphlands, there's this hanging cage, and it's being like zapped with these rods set in the ground that are channeling lightning into the cage. So when you go there while the quest is active, this whole area is like awash in like this energy and crackle and light from these lightning rods that are blasting this thing and like making it discharge bad spores or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to go and purify these rods so they calm the fuck down. But this looks so visually impressive when this thing is active. And you only see it when you have this daily quest active.
Yeah. They could be doing this the whole time. It would make all the sense in the world. Less.
Well, I think it is special to see that effect and then to take it down as part of the action.
Yeah.
I wouldn't leave it on full time. I think it is cool, though, to see it.
No. But maybe like every once in a while, it could just be like doing lightning stuff.
It could be a fate or something, Jen.
Yeah.
Anyway. Beyond that, though, it's same old.
Pretty much.
Same quest types as the first round. So we do the things and we rank up. We start off now with Olmsio complaining about Voice. Apparently, he's been napping on his books, so Olmsio just gives them less and less complex tasks, hoping that he can do something right, but he keeps fucking up everything he does and then going back to sleep. So now he's been asked to go and collect leaves, but he has not returned. So we have to go out and find Voice,
go find him again.
Got lost on his leaf gathering expedition.
So we check in with Nathaxio. He's the little sylph that hangs out at the end of the footbridge that leads into Lark's Call. And he sent Voice in to gather leaves from the shelter tree, using a see-through spell for his safety. However, day has turned to night, and Voice hasn't returned. So it's likely that the spell wore off, and he's, crouched and terrified behind a tree somewhere, maybe dead, something. So while he is very useless, he still doesn't deserve to die. So we should go find him.
Yes. We find him being attacked by an Ochu, just across the tree bridge that leads into the deeper part of the Sylphlands. We kill it, and he tells us that he got lost, and we head back to Little Solace. So we get back there, and we report to Olmsio that we found Voice. Olmsio says that someone that looks like us just returned moments ago, and that they would look after... Olmsio realizes that they got tricked. A touch sylph probably came by looking like us, and said they would guard the podling. So we head to the Elder now and learn that our double had just come here and said they would guard the podling. We go looking for the podling and it's gone.
Yeah, so now, like, the Sylphs are like, have you been fucking with us this whole time? Or we're like, what are you talking about? Like, we're this person. And then as we're, like, bickering over this mega prank.
We, the brave one, did not steal the podling.
Yeah. So now, as we're talking, there's a voice that's interrupting our little whatever. And he's like, this one thinks the gray-haired one needs new spectacles. And we all turn to see where the voice is coming from, and it's fucking us, the Warrior of Light, standing on a little cliff, looking down at all of us with a smug look on our face. And this was, like, fun. I don't know,
Yeah.
to, like, see me again is, I don't know, I thought that was great. So we're all looking, and he's like, I fucking got you, and poof, it's Deluxio. It's the head bad Sylph. He's got like a red maple leaf for a face.
Yep.
And he is like, you're all a bunch of fools. I have stolen the podling. And as they're holding up the podling in triumph, it starts to like pulsate and glow. And they're like, oh God, the time of rebirth is at hand. And Deluxio does his fucking speech. They're going to raise the chosen one in the way of the Almighty One, Lord Ramu, and teach them of their many enemies, the walking ones, the steel ones, the treacherous ones, fucking everybody. We're destroying all y'all motherfuckers. And then they like mwahahaha their way back into the Sylphlands. And we're all a little perturbed. And Omsio is like, I need some time to figure out a plan here. Just keep doing what you're doing while I figure out a plan.
Go have forest fun.
Yeah. Beat up on the pranky guys.
So we do that. The new quests don't add anything of note, in my opinion.
There's like the new thing, the new mechanism, which is like the milk root dispenser or whatever. So like our Little Solace Sylphs sometimes go into Lark's Call and they're like, we come out of there drunk and we don't know why. Oh wait, no, we do know why. So the bad Sylphs have these things that just pump out intoxicants into the air, and we have to go and turn them off so that we can walk around and not get drunk all the time. That's one of them.
So we rank up and we return for the final quest. Omsio has good news and horrible, miserable, terrible news.
Very bad news.
We ask for the good news first. They found the podling. The other news, though, is that the sprouting ritual has begun, and the podling will be born into the care of the touched sylphs. The first sylph the podling sees will become the nurturing one, which means that the touched sylph that stole the podling, Deluxio, will tell them to command Ramu to destroy everyone.
Yep, that's it.
So Elder Frixio asks us to head in to steal back the podling before it's too late.
And this is when Voice runs up, and he's like, you guys know I want to go. I want to go, and I want to help, and I want to do this. And he's like, I understand how I have caused you a lot of trouble and headache, and I've fucked up a lot of shit, but this is my moment. I'm going to make it right. I'm going to help. I'm going to get the podling back. Yeah. And Omsio and Frixio are like, absolutely not. You will bumble and you will ruin everything and you need to stay here. And Voice is like, he's really disappointed and he runs away. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, at least we don't have to deal with him. And we continue discussing the mission. And the ritual is taking place in the seedbed, which is way the fuck at the very edge of the Sylphlands. And we need to, but record scratch, Voice interjects saying, your loyal steed has arrived. And Voice walks in wearing a chocobo suit. And he is claiming to be the steed that will lead us into this mission.
Yes, he's now called a Voco.
Voco, I am the prince of chocobos, and I will accompany the brave adventurer to save all of Sylph-kind. And everybody is like, my fucking god. Not only must we, I mean, and then he runs off. Like, he's gone. There's nothing we can do. I'm like, fuck. So now, not only must we stop this ritual, we have to babysit this fucking guy in the chocobo costume. So, yeah, that's the first mission. We escort, this shit's backwards. We
Yes.
escort the chocobo, the prince of chocobos, to the seedbed.
Right. We find him at the bridge that connects the outer Sylphlands to the inner Sylphlands, and then we get an escort quest, which is much less elegant than the current following mechanic. So Voice will follow us around at a speed that is lower than our speed.
Just slightly. Just enough to be annoying.
And if he falls too far behind, we'll fail the quest. He also will attract aggro. Enemies will aggro on him.
Mm-hmm. That's fine. I'm like, this is the last escort mission out of all of these things that we've had to do. And I'm like, I will happily do it, and we will be done. We lead Voco to the seedbed.
We make it to the Podling's chamber in the far northwest part of the wood. I think that beyond this questline, there might be one fate that appears here, but this is a cave that has a very tall, glowing mushroom that pokes up in the middle, and the outside perimeter is surrounded by these large descending roots, and there is a ring of water at the base of the mushroom. Also at the base of the mushroom is Podling.
Yes, and this seems to be like the birthing station for the sylphs, because the podlings are kind of like embedded in the walls of this place. It's really cool.
This also seems to mean, though, that every sylph might come into the care of the touched ones, but
I guess that makes sense, just because the population disparity between the two is pretty extreme.
That, but also, I don't know, it's kind of odd because they're going to hatch the chosen one in Little Solace, but they don't have like a seed bed in Little Solace as well. So
nope.
Maybe the chosen one was far enough along that they could just, keep it going until the end.
They'd make it work.
But
absolutely.
In general, though, I don't know if they can actually incubate sylphs in Little Solace or not.
We don't know. I mean, we've never been inside these tents. Who knows there might be like basements.
They could be full of pods.
Full of pods.
They could be with pods.
I mean, they could be. We don't know. Or maybe the displacement is so new that they haven't had a chance to build their own. I don't know. Stuff. So anyway, there it is. There is the chosen one's podling, glowing and doing its stuff. And we're like, okay, we slowly approach. But boom! Deluxio and his gang of touched ones appear, and they're like, "Wahaha! You're just in time." And then he starts kind of monologuing a bit. No longer will we live in the shadow of the walking ones. And on and on and on. And there's a cutscene that's playing as we're listening to him and his garbage. But while he's talking, Voice is tiptoeing birdily in the background, like through the back of the scene. He's flapping his little stupid wings and he's tiptoeing towards the pod the whole time. And we're just like watching him like, the fuck are you doing?
The sylphs see him too.
Everybody sees him.
They are fooled by him, apparently. They think he's a chocobo.
Correct.
And this is when they say that we're going to roast you and eat you as a victory feast. Sylphs do eat chocobos, apparently.
So Deluxio continues with his like shock and awe messaging, blah, blah, blah. And Voice continues to tiptoe in the background. It's very funny. I enjoyed this a lot. At some point, Deluxio does actually turn and look at Voice. And Voice looks at him and he's like, quit? And it's so absurd. And then he's like, that's fine. You can hang out. We'll cook you and it'll be great. And and then it shows us and we're just looking at Voice, just mouth agape, gobsmacked at what is happening here. And Deluxio continues, say your prayers, doomed one. Ah, ha, 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 ha. At this point, Voice has actually reached the podling and grabs it and then prances away, he takes his mask off, and he's like, haha, I was a person this whole time. The feathered one is actually walking one? Gasp! And he gloats at the group. It is I, walking one. Guess you won't be calling me stupid anymore now, will you? And he's like, my legs will carry me into forever! And he runs off with the podling in his hands. And then the gang of touch ones, pursue. And we go and chase after everybody.
This is kind of pushing the line between like absurdity and cutscene fiat and then game mechanics as well.
Mm-hmm.
All the sylphs are talking down to us like we're in trouble inside the cave. But then we catch up to Voice, and despite his like cutscene powers, he's made it 20 feet before he's collapsed.
He's literally immediately outside of the door. He made it nowhere.
And the sylphs will spawn on us and attack us, and we just like bloop them off and no problem.
No problem.
So it's very interesting because
there are no stakes here.
If I were to control my character, this threat would be a non-issue. It's only because the cutscene's making me stay put is why there's any drama at all.
Right.
But then they just like give me control, and then I just blop the sylphs and I have the podling.
No, we're good. It's not the first time the game has made me very confused about how to feel. Like the music played during this whole thing, it's not ominous. It's silly. This whole thing is silly. So it's like, is the fate of the world at stake here or no? The fate of the world is in the hands of a man in a chocobo suit.
For 20 feet until we take over.
Which is fucking hilarious. I mean, I enjoyed it very much, again, because it's completely absurd. And Voice is a ridiculous man. They play that. He's like, I'm gonna run forever! And then 20 feet outside the door, he's like, I am tired! You'll need to go on without me! The gang of sylphs that we have to fight to take the podling over, it's a blip. It matters not at all. It's nothing. It's not any kind of fight. There's no cool little trial with Deluxio. There's no final standoff. It's the easiest thing in the world. So, yeah.
Now we get the longest carrying minigame ever.
Oh my god, just when I thought I was done, I was like, fine, I'll escort Voco into the seedbed, and this will be the last thing I have to do ever that is like this. Thank God. Yes, let's do it. And then I'm like, there's no way you're gonna make me do this. We have to take this podling from the most extreme corner of this world, of this land, of this environment to Little Solace. We have to walk through the entirety of the Sylphlins and Lark's Call and get into Little Solace and deposit it in the treehouse. And
climb the treehouse. It's not at the bottom.
Yeah, I'm like, I was panicking. I was like, okay, where the fuck? Where is this marker? And I'm like, it's gonna be up, isn't it? And if it's not up, I won't have time to get back to the Moonflower to refresh my shit, and I will have to start all over again. The panic.
Really feel the stakes there, Jen.
This is the only time I felt stakes. But we did it. I did it.
Jen did it.
Can't speak for you. I did it.
I did it too, Jen.
Okay, great.
And after we get there, Voice rushes back to us after being like, go on without me. Let me die here. Then he's like, oh, I'm fine.
It's so ridiculous. You must go. Leave me for the greater good. And then he just like runs up later. Oh, man. Have I learned some lessons, you guys? I've learned some things in my time here in Little Solace, in my many near-death experiences. Let me list them for you. 1. Stay clear of the Sylphlins. 2. Leave the heavy lifting to the adventurers. And 3. And 3.5. Keep a close eye on one's journal and undergarments. Anyway, let's watch the Sylphs get ushered into a new era, shall we?
He's learned a lesson 4 too, but we'll find that out in a moment.
Lesson 4?
Yes.
Oh, not the undergarments one?
No.
Oh, okay. The ritual is happening. The podling elevates, and it's all full of light and stuff. And then, poof.
It asks, who is the calling one?
And Frixio is like, that's me. I'm the elder.
I wanted Voice to become Sylph Daddy or something.
Something.
One of my gripes with this thing does not commit to the bit hard enough.
Right.
Just if you're going to do it. Don't half-ass it. And have
I
your voice
would have
be
been
Sylph
so
Daddy.
happy.
Yes.
Oh my God.
I mean,
because it's like whatever. Also, it didn't seem like the Chosen One was able to control this at all. Like there wouldn't be like it is birthed with like, again, all the knowledge, all the language skills. You know, it's like, who is the calling one? It isn't just automatically imprint like a little baby bird. You know, it asks the room, like, who is going to nurture me? And whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That also would explain why nothing changes in the Sylphlands. Voice would be...
It's business as usual.
Yeah, well, voice would be daddy and being a bad dad or whatever.
But yeah, oh my God, can you imagine?
Frixio, though, is dad.
Yeah.
Frixio dad.
You know, we welcome Chosen One into our family, and there will be peace and tranquility here, and we hope you accept our invitation. And the Chosen One is like, well, I guess if you're the one, then I guess I have to live here. That's basically kind of how it's phrased.
It says, this one is born to answer, and the cycle begins anew.
Whatever that means. Okay. And then there was much rejoicing. Everybody's like, woo, yay.
And that is literally it.
That's it.
We just,
Done.
no thank you, Warrior of Light. No goodbye. Just
nope.
Quest
Boom.
over. We're
Quest
done.
over. The Chosen One lives somewhere here, I guess. We'll never see them again.
Nope.
I guess.
And then we go back to our customary sign-off with our Grand Company representative. So we head to the Adder's Nest and talk to Vorsai. And he says he has just finished reviewing Voice's report, in which Voice solved a sylphic prophecy and fought off a legion of sylphs. Yes, Vorsai says, he picked the right man, brains and brawn. But fortunately, he says, Voice gave us some credit as a supporting member of the team and for coming up with the Chocobo ruse. So good job us for that bit of genius.
Great.
For all of our hard work, we get invited to rest our legs for a moment. The end.
Yeah. There's like a bench over there if you want to sit on that and rest your legs. Thanks. Thanks for all your work. Yeah.
So, Jin, there's a lot to unpack here. The Chosen One, besides having all the trees in their portfolio, they also have the ability to command Ramu and make Ramu super powerful. And this can also apparently give him like the power to destroy cities or whatever unhindered.
Yeah, it's almost like Ramu doesn't have any sort of agency.
That's what the implication is, yes, is that he doesn't have...
Yeah, he has to behave at the whims of this Chosen One.
Yes. But here is my issue, Jen, with this overall quest line, as far as the actual Chosen One goes. I feel like they are so powerful, they don't actually feel real, in a sense.
But also, this could be a little bit of, you know, like how many years? So it's been 1,000, right?
Yes.
1,000 years since the last one. That's plenty of time for myths to get shared and overblown and shared again. It's 1,000 years of telephone about the legend of the Chosen One and how much power they actually hold. So there could be a little bit of, yes, the Chosen One will be born and control Ramu and completely take over the Earth or you know, Heidelin or whatever. Probably not true, but I'm sure at a minimum they probably have the ability to summon Ramu willy-nilly, like whenever they want.
Sure. You could consider it that this has become distorted over time. That's probably a fair argument. But my point being, though, is this Chosen One, the scope of its powers are so great that it didn't feel plausible to begin with. Like, I'm not believing anything that you're telling me because the powers are
dumb.
So extreme that it doesn't feel remotely in scope with anything we're going to do here.
Yeah, and, you know, lead the Sylphs into a new era. What does that even mean? Are they going to, like, unify the Touched Ones and the Sylphs of Little Solace and they can all live in harmony again? Because that seems cool. But as far as, like, the scope of their powers, it's, like, beyond anything that is reasonable or useful.
Sure. And I think this is where this one really falls down, not just in this case, but just in general. The characters in this quest line are not at all relatable. Voice is
he's annoying.
The punchline. Like it or hate it, he is. And then all the Sylphs they're not really strong characters. They want the Chosen One to be good, and that is their motivation, and that is
it's like good Sylph versus bad Sylph.
Right. And then the Chosen One is just some abstract. So every other Beast Tribe questline has had actual characters that have motivations, that they have stakes to the motivations. And
they have personalities, they have past, they have trauma, they have, like with the Sahagin, the bad guys are going to make our relations with the Maelstrom like real bad. So we got to try to fix that shit.
Yeah.
Like that makes sense. That's something that we can feasibly control, and like we feel the effects of that every day. This is like, if the Chosen One gets into the wrong hands, they will destroy the world. That's it. They will fucking destroy the world. It goes from 0 to a billion.
Yeah.
And that doesn't make any sense. It's trying to imagine $1 quadrillion. It's like an imaginary number. It doesn't mean anything to you. And then, I mean, if the Chosen One could do something neat, something within the sphere of reason, within the sphere of reality that we exist in every single day, like the little things. Maybe the Chosen One could, like a simple reunification. Of course, that's not going to happen in the game because we need the bad selves and the good selves, because whatever.
I don't think we do, actually, because the sylphs really don't come into play ever again in a big way.
Yeah, true. If they could facilitate negotiations, like, okay, that I can get behind. Or maybe the Chosen One can create, like, flora that is benevolent and particularly beautiful, or could help, spread, like, good forest, like, into what's like the bleak ass fucking stony shit landscape just outside of Fallgourd Float? Alder Springs?
Maybe. I don't recall the name of that area.
I think it's Alder Springs.
Sure, it might be.
Anyway.
Yes.
And maybe the Chosen One can be like, la 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 la, and sprinkle its magic over and, rehabilitate the blighted lands. Something like this.
There are two things missing. One is stakes that we can comprehend, what you're saying, Jen. The other is characters that we can relate to.
It has none of these things.
Yes.
Voice is so annoying, and I don't give a shit about him. Who is this kid? What are his credentials?
None, obviously.
Anybody who observed him in his studies, engaging with other people, or whatever, would understand. They would, if the sylphs can see through him immediately, then we could.
So I do think this actually has seeds of real world problems in it. Where
people fail up all the time.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So he comes there saying, I'm the sylph expert, and Forsyth's like, well, good, I got a sylph job for you. Then they send him off with a paycheck, and that's that.
Yeah, we're not going to tattle either.
Though.
So,
We should, frankly, because this, I think he sucks in general in this quest line.
Yeah.
And not in a good way. Lest you think that I'm just a hater, I do like Hildebrand. And I was wondering, actually, when the quest ended, why I like Hildebrand and not Voice.
That's a great question.
And I came to the conclusion that Hildebrand commits to the bit, while Voice seems like an attempt at an adorable goof in a serious world, where nothing he does ever works, because of course it wouldn't, but he keeps on trying his dumb ideas anyway.
He's got affluenza written all over him.
So it just comes off like he's a disruptive child getting in the way of the adults who are trying to do serious work.
And he doesn't really learn lessons.
No, he does not.
So the next job he is given, he could do some very real damage. And he's not going to be surrounded by excellence or people who are trying to pick up the pieces. Like with Hildebrand, he's surrounded by people who could maybe help out. Maybe mitigate some of the damage. I don't know. I haven't done enough Hildebrand really, but that seems to be the jam.
Well, that's the thing, though.
It's also, but it's like a gang of incompetence, of arrogance and ignorance. And his assistant is also just like, you're so amazing. Everything you do is amazing.
Hildebrand succeeds through luck and through companions.
Correct.
But everyone around him either is in his kind of aura of mystique,
yes,
or thinks he's absolutely full of shit.
Right.
And that's the fun of it, is that you have the straight people and it's
the combination of the two. It's classic. Yeah. It's a classic comedy pairing.
But also, though, Hildebrand has his own abilities too. He's not just, let me just play pranks in the corner while the adults are trying to solve the mystery.
Yeah, he's not.
He drives the action forward despite himself.
Yeah, he has ambition and his heart's in the right place. Whereas Voice is like a lying, conniving little butt. What
I think really condemns him as being shit is that stolen valor at the end.
Yes.
Because that takes him from being just like an innocent, incompetent goof.
Yeah, he's full of hope and, pies in the sky, sort of, I'm going to learn everything there is about the soul. Like, there's something endearing in that.
Yes.
But then he
just straight up lies to his own benefit.
Like, bro, like, we wouldn't find out.
Yeah.
You wanna go with the Warrior of Light? But like, we're so far above the, tattling on that shit. Let's like, I don't care. Like, I know what I've done. I can see that, Jen, we need to
also
protect the future jobs that this kid is given.
Us standing there like a doofus while Versailles repeats these lies.
We should have been
face.
given a prompt. Do we tell him?
Yes, or something, or just like do it, because this is not ethical either.
Correct.
It's not about our claim. We got plenty of that. We don't need more, but it's not ethical to let this stand.
Yeah.
And then let Voice do further damage. He's been outed from being cute to being like full on malicious and conniving.
Yeah. We need to go hook him up with Eric. The two of them should work together.
Do they need to?
I think
Jen's referring to Eric, the monk scholar, I believe.
Yeah, well, I think the issue is that, he wouldn't let Voice get away with anything. It would be some real tough lessons learned.
What does Voice bring to the table? That was the question in that scenario.
Well, that's going to be annoying for Eric, and that's okay with me.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
Jen wins both ways.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, so that last bit really kind of took it from being cute to being shitty.
I was very disappointed.
Yeah.
But it also was like, yeah, that's absolutely something he would do.
But I don't know if that's true, actually. It's something he did do, obviously, but I don't think that's something that he would do to begin with. I can see his kind of job pitch at the beginning being like, I know about sylphs because I read a book about them. Therefore, I know all I need to know about sylphs. I'm the sylph expert. And that's just, naivete. That is young person thinking much of themselves with little experience, which again happens in the real world too. That is not malicious inherently. The in bit, though, that is actually malicious. And that, I think, doesn't necessarily have to extend from the other precedent Voices set.
He's just a worse person than we thought.
Yes, agree. By a lot.
Wah wah.
Anyway, Jen, so that's Sylphs. It was interesting.
I'm glad it's over. More than any other. More than any other tribe situation. This, like, when I went to go collect my quests for the day, and I'm like, no, I don't want to do it. Because there was like one where I got literally every single see-through escort delivery fucking whatever it was. I think it was like the last little bit that I had to do. I got every single one of them, and it took forever. So mad. There was only one time really where I ran out of juice and had to go start it over again. No, that was twice. Twice I ran out of juice because like the places I had to go were like at opposite ends, and I couldn't get there in time or something.
Yeah. No, they're at the first one, I think they're in opposite corners of the area.
So it's on purpose. You have to go back and re-up.
You don't have to, but the timing is very tight. If you beeline to the click it, then beeline back to the flower, you can get refreshed in time, but it is very tight, like a few seconds tight.
I was down to like 5 seconds. I'm like, no. Not that. So there was one time where it was super, super close, and I was mad. And then there were 2 other times where I had to go back and get invisibled again. Whatever. I did enjoy the chicken or the roast turkey. The environment's really, really pretty. It's really cool in there.
Next time, we are going to hit up that Brayflock's Long Stop Hard dungeon.
Yay! And then we can move on with our relic shit at last.
Yeah, so last time we did one of these, the Halatali Hard, we're like, finally, we can do our relic. And then immediately, the very next book, blocked again by a hard mode dungeon we haven't done.
God damn it. We can't make any progress. It's been 6 months.
Yes.
Like your gate kept at every corner.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah.
So we will see you then.
And that will do it for today's episode. Thank you guys so much for listening and dealing with us and dealing with the sylphs. We appreciate it. If you want to get in touch with us, you can at podreturnffxiv @gmail.com. Check the show notes for our Discord. You can join up, talk about yourself, your pets, your clams, join group runs, and make your own. It's rad. Everybody's cool. And then we also have our Patreon, patreon.com/podreturnffxiv. And for $1 a month, you'll get access to the other stuff we produce. That is our Final Fantasy XI series, Vana'diel Van Splainer, and all of the seasonal events. Those episodes get dumped there. So yeah, they dump there. So check it out. And with that, we hope you enjoyed the episode. Have a good day or night, and we will see you next time.